Hey guys, so it has been about 7 weeks I think since I've sat down in this room to film like one of my normal booktube videos, so it feels kind of good to be back. Today what I'm going to be doing is a spoiler-free review of The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzi Lee. There's been so much hype over this book because I think it was in the Owl Crate or something recently and it only just came out, and I was really excited for this one and I read it, so yeah, and I loved it. You may have noticed from the title that there's also going to be a giveaway at the end of this video. I kind of just had been thinking about the fact that it would be nice when I do review videos like this of books that I really enjoyed and that are going to be like my all-time favorites, if maybe when I do the review I do a giveaway as well to give one of you guys the chance to actually pick up this book. So all the details for that will be at the end of this video, so stay tuned if that's something that you're interested in. So this book is a historical YA adventure kind of story. I would say it's like historical fiction but kind of like an adventure story at the same time. It's set in the 18th century, which is the 1700s, and it's about a guy called Monty, who I'm assuming is depicted on the front cover. He goes on his grand tour of Europe with his best friend Percy, who he's also secretly in love with. You find out that at the very beginning of the book. And they also have to take his younger sister Felicity. So the grand tour of Europe was a thing that apparently young men used to do back in those times, and it's kind of like their OE kind of experience, like the overseas experience that a lot of young people do these days. And so yeah, along with a lot of partying and stuff like that, they also run into a whole bunch of trouble along the way, including pirates and highwaymen, and it's just packed full of adventure. So like I said, this was definitely one of my most anticipated reads of this year. I was really excited for it and it completely did not disappoint me whatsoever. It was amazing. The plot, first of all, is an absolute riot. It just gets better and better as it goes on as well, because it kind of gets crazier and crazier, and it also has a lot of really funny moments because the protagonist Monty is really witty. He's got that kind of like sarcastic humor that I really like. So firstly I want to talk about the setting. Like I said, it was set in the 18th century, which is a time period that I really like, and it's set all throughout Europe, a whole bunch of different countries. It starts in England, they visit Greece, they visit Italy, they visit France, they visit Spain. All of the places are described in really beautiful detail as well. And there's also a really cool map at the beginning of the book, and I just always love maps in books. I think I don't know, they're just fun. And there's like little notes written on it by Monty as well, which is really cool. My absolute favorite element of this book was definitely the characters. Like I said, Monty is a really witty protagonist. So Monty, first of all, is an earl's son. He's 17 years old, and honestly he's young and stupid and reckless. He makes a lot of really terrible decisions, but he's lovable at the same time. He is a bisexual character as well. It's not something that's explicitly labeled or like spoken of in the book, because I think, just to remain historically accurate, bisexual isn't a word that existed back in those times, so he kind of just knows that he likes both men and women, and he is very open about that in this book, but there's just not like a word for it. And yeah, I thought his bisexuality was represented really well. He definitely has a problem with alcohol. I would most likely call him an alcoholic. His flaws are like explicitly dealt with as flaws, so you kind of are there like wanting him to, you know, to be a better person and everything. You can tell that he wants that as well, and that he recognizes his own flaws too. At the beginning of the book he kind of presents himself as like a fun-loving troublemaker, but he goes through a lot of character development, which I really appreciated. So by the end of the novel he's definitely looking at himself and wanting to improve himself. He definitely learns a lot from the people he has around him, because his best friend, his sister, a lot of people that they meet and stuff are really intelligent and really caring people. You know what's funny? He really reminded me of Will Herondale from The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. That's one of the like Shadowhunters series. If you've read that, you know Will Herondale. He's an absolute favorite among many people, so I think if you like Will Herondale you might like Monty as well. Monty's best friend that he's in love with, like I said, his name is Percy. Percy is biracial, which I thought was also dealt with very well in this book. Obviously in the time period that this takes place there was a lot of racism and everything, so being biracial at that time was not an easy thing. And that is dealt with, I think, with a lot of historical accuracy. Monty is really defensive of Percy in a lot of cases, which is really nice, and at the same time Percy calls Monty out on a lot of Monty's ignorance. So yeah, I think that is something that's dealt with really well as well. In contrast to Monty, Percy is much more mellow. He plays the violin, which is nice, and he's definitely like Monty's partner in crime. And now that I stop and think about it, I get like serious Will Jem vibes. And the Infernal Devices, Jem is Will's best friend, and he also plays the violin and is also a lot more mellow than Will. And yeah, I just think that's a really weird parallel, and not in the way that it's like directly the same or anything, but if you like that pairing of best friends, you'll love this pairing of best friends as well. I think they're like just as an iconic like pair. Then we have Monty's little sister Felicity. I initially, from the start of the book, for some reason I really didn't think Felicity would be sticking around for much of it. I thought she'd have a much more minor role than she ended up having, and I'm so glad that she was in it for like the whole novel, because she was a really awesome character as well. She is very smart, but her parents and kind of just society in general, because of the way that women were expected to behave and how they were perceived back in those times, she's not really taken seriously. And you know, she's not supposed to like go and get a proper education and become like a doctor or anything like that. She's supposed to, you know, be a proper lady and, I don't know, raise a family or something, and she just is really not the way people expect her to be. She's just, yeah, really intelligent and a total badass, and I really liked her. All of the side characters are really wonderful and unique as well. There's no one who's kind of just like thrown in without much development. All of the side characters have like their own little storylines and stuff. One of my favorite side characters, just as I mentioned, is a pirate, and his name was Scipio or Scipio. I don't really know how to pronounce his name, but he was my favorite. Additionally, somehow without losing any of the fun of the story, because it is a really fun story, it also deals with some really hard-hitting issues really well. With the character of Felicity, I feel like that deals with feminism a lot, because she really stands up for just wanting to be her own person and not being defined by her gender. It also deals, like I said, with racism. It deals with bisexuality. To my understanding, in addition to Monty being bisexual, there's also an asexual character. Again, that is not explicitly stated, because those, you know, hard definitions of sexuality didn't exist in those times. I believe that one of the characters is asexual, just from the way that person talks about themselves. Disability is also another issue that's dealt with, as well as abuse. All of them are dealt with really well, I think, in the fact that they're all really problematic issues, but they're like kind of all called out or discussed in a way that makes you understand why these things are problematic, or like why people's attitudes towards them are problematic. And in most cases, the person who's getting called out or whatever is Monty, because he puts his foot in it a lot, and he kind of is representative in a lot of ways of how the majority of society perceived things in those times, and he, you know, shows his ignorance in a way that a lot of people are ignorant about these issues, just because if you haven't come across it before, if you've never been called out for your attitudes towards it, you're never going to have that chance to learn. So he learns a lot, and I really like seeing that. Also, as a final note, as if it couldn't get any better than it already is, the author included a bunch of notes in the back of the book about the historical context that she, you know, took to put into this book. She did a lot of research on the way things were perceived in those times and all of that, and I just think it was done really well. It gave me a good sense, because I, you know, had wondered by the end of this book, I was like, I wonder if, you know, people actually did grand tours, and I wonder how, you know, homosexuality or bisexuality was perceived back then and what people thought of it and stuff. So I really like that she included some sort of non-fiction notes in the back, making reference to what she made up and what she actually took from historical fact. Overall, like I've said, this book was so much fun. There's, you know, a bit of romance, some pirates, a lot of adventure. It's just everything I could ever want in a book, and at the same time it dealt with enough issues and stuff that it really got me thinking and kind of changed my perception of those times a little bit. Best of all though, the characters were incredibly memorable, and when I got to the end of this book, I felt like I knew them so well. I really wanted to read more about them. I wish this was a trilogy or something instead of a standalone, because I feel like I haven't had enough of them. Yeah, I just wish I could read more about them, and yeah, I'm kind of sad that it's over, but I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I think that kind of goes without saying. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a giveaway of this book. The way I'm going to be doing it is through Book Depository. So long as Book Depository ships to your country, you can enter this and you could potentially win this book. All I want you to do is just leave a comment down below saying something about this book, like what sounds interesting to you, or what issues you're interested in that it deals with, or, you know, just name a character who sounds appealing to you or something like that. Just anything, just whatever. Pretty much just leave me a comment and I'll enter you. So this video is going up on the 13th of August. You can enter from today, anytime between today and the 22nd of August. I'll be announcing the winner on my video that goes up on Tuesday the 29th of August, so look out for that. Obviously, like, I'll also message you or something if you win. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I will see you with another video in a couple of days. It'll probably be my July wrap up because it's way overdue by this point. But yeah, highly recommend this book. Please check it out if you're at all interested in it because it's awesome. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this. I'll see you guys with another video in a couple of days. Bye.